Hey, what up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. So, today we are doing the minimal of the minimal because I have a work related injury. We're actually going to prepare this for my cousin or whoever's going to come help me pull the engine out. We officially have all the parts, such as the Eagle rods, the Kilford springs, and titanium retainers, and we also have a OEM gasket kit and the timing belt. So we officially have all the parts. We could take the engine out, go get it rebuilt, and because of the small upgrades we're doing, we're actually going to bump up the boost. And I should be expected to be around the 380 to 450 range with just 10 psi of boost, which is more than enough for this truck because just on 5 pounds of boost, E85, I was at 230 spinning third gear. So this should be a fun little truck. But how I said, I have a work related injury. We're just going to prepare it for the bigger stuff to get done whenever they come. So just the minor stuff, but finally going to get this rebuilt and driving once again. So I'm happy about that. So we're going to start off by taking off the shifter from the tranny. All right, so now we are going to take off the old fuel system because we are converting to a submerged fuel system. So we no longer need a external fuel pump. Because we're going to a submerged fuel pump, we also got to change the top hat. So the old top hat is just a filler. There's nothing else. This one has inlet, outlet, power to the fuel pump, and a fuel pump. So let's go ahead and change this out. Okay, so when I first received this fuel pump, I actually wired in the harness. So that way, when I have it in here, I could just plug it in. All right, guys. So today's the next day, and we're going to continue removing all the small pieces that I still can do. Remember, I do have a work-related injury, so I can't really do much. So we're going to start removing the grill, the intercooler, the wiring, and a few small pieces. But as far as everything else, I'm going to let him handle, and should be easy day. So let's get to it. All right, so it's day 2, and I didn't record anything. The motor's out of the truck. My cousin and my best friend took it apart. My other best friend helped me with the fuel system. So now today we are officially taking the motor to go get rebuilt, and we already stripped it apart. So here's the bare block. Everything's been taken apart and it's ready to take, which I'm just waiting on my cousin so we could take that. But we have the parts chilling there. We have more parts chilling there. We have all the bolts chilling there. But the good thing is I know where everything goes. It's real easy to put this back together. So we have a OEM timing belt. We have a OEM full gasket kit. We have the ARP head studs. We have the Kilford springs and retainers. And we have the Eagle performance rods so we could turn up the boost. So when we get the motor back, we're actually going to take this bung and the valve cover to my friend Jose over at Fine Spec Motorworks, and we're going to get this welded here. When we get this back, we also got to measure what size hose that we need for this coolant port, because this is a 1/2 inch, right? So from here it's supposed to go to the oil cooler. From the oil cooler it's supposed to go up here, go this way for it to cool down, right? But we're not using the oil cooler, so we have an external one. So what we have to do is basically loop this from here into up here, then it goes back into the thermostat housing. But because we have a turbo that is oil cooled and water cooled, we got to run coolant through it. So we're going to do a T here, a T up here. So here it's going to bypass the whole system, but it's also going to cool down the turbo when it goes up here. So when we get the manifold back on, the turbo back on, we gotta see what size hose is supposed to go from here all the way to the turbo, so we don't have any extra length. Because I did have these, and these were about 2 feet too long. So once it's back together, then we'll start measuring on the proper sizes of what everything is supposed to be. So last night I found out about a company that makes a epoxy ceramic coating for turbine housings, or the hot side of the turbos, and for the exhaust manifold and for the downpipe. So we're gonna be using that. It is set in black, so it's gonna look perfect with the scheme color that I'm doing with the engine bay. And it's supposed to be glossy, but once it dries, then it turns satin once it gets heat soaked. So I can't wait to try that out. So while the motor gets rebuilt, my plans are to remove everything out of the engine bay, so I could actually sand everything, prep it, and paint it. And I believe I'm gonna do satin black. My original plan was to delete the factory motor mounts that are on the chassis and cut off the cross member that I made for the swap. The reason being is I want to make it more practical, but at the same time much better, especially that I got new mounts. And well, because of my work injury, I can't do any of this. So for now, we're just gonna prep it and paint it and worry about all this in the future. Not sure if I recorded this, but these are new corner lights for my truck. These are for the 84 through 88. These are new bumper lights. These are meant for the 92 Toyota pickup. These are crystal clear from the Philippines. They're not the original ones you see here in the States with the diffuser in them. And the reason being is because I am doing a front end swap. Not now, I'm just collecting parts until I have everything together. And we also have a brand new 3-row aluminum radiator, because the one I have right now, it has about 10 years of abuse and it has a whole bunch of JBO from my trips going to different states. So that's gonna be a good thing to change once I put this truck back together. Alright, so motor is officially gone. It's at the machine shop. So now we're going to be prepping the truck and a few other things, such as the valve cover. We already took this over to my buddy Jose, and he already welded the AM bung, so that's good. So now we need to strip all the paint off, because we're going to paint this as well as the engine base. So we are going to be using this paint stripper that they use for chassis, and you can find this on Amazon for about 12 bucks, I believe, if not at a local auto parts store. But that is supposed to strip any type of paint off of chassis and anything that you want to get to bare metal. Alright, so this has been all stripped down, as well as the other parts. But so we have my best friend helping me out. We already removed the whole front end. We already took off the wire harness, anything off the firewall that we don't want any paint on. All of this is gonna get painted. That's gonna get wrapped, but I do want the base to get painted, so that's gonna stay in there. But everything has been removed, and the fenders are going to come off once we get to that part, because I don't want to strip it down completely and leave it completely naked. So for now, we're just going to sand this part area down, and once we get to that, then we'll take it off. So we have my best friend helping me. We're drilling holes into the floorboard because we are putting some battery terminals through there. So I'm changing all my electrical system as well, so it should be running a little bit better. And we're also going to be throwing a 200 amp relay into the fuse box, so there should be a lot more power going to all my equipment. Alright, so my neighbor taught me how to use my spray gun, because he's a certified painter, and I love the results. It just looks good. I can't wait to slap these onto the engine. Alright, so this is a long time in the future. We've done a little bit more work. We've actually cut out more of the metal that was here. We actually smoothened it out, so there's no sharp edges. I trimmed this even shorter. We have more room if I gotta access the brake lines. I removed this bracket, I cut it off. There was a bolt that was studded here, I took that off too. I did grind down this whole area. We finished more of the sanding on here, some of the chassis on this side. We still gotta sand down this whole side of the chassis, this half of the chassis. I still gotta cut or take this fender off, and we still gotta cut a little bit more. This got wrinkled from a crash in Las Vegas, and then same thing. And then we gotta sand down this whole area. We gotta cover up the reservoir with some tape, and then I think that should be it as far as prepping it to get ready for paint. After everything's done and said, we gotta pressure wash everything, remove any grime, and then clean it up with some acetone, and then start painting. We have a small update in the inside, which I kind of fixed up a lot. I got some $20 floor mats, but this is the entertaining part. We have some pass-through or bulkhead fitting battery terminals here that obviously feed the amp directly. We have a accessory fuse panel here, and then we have terminals for the power steering pump, and then we have an accessory switch panel I'm gonna show you guys right now on that side. But this is a new setup for the inside. It runs up, don't mind this mess. I'm still doing wiring, but it feeds that, it feeds the 200 amp relay, and it feeds the fuse box there. But this turned out a whole bunch better. I didn't really have sounds. Now we're gonna be throwing two 6x9s and a sub. If we head over to this side, we got a new switch panel for accessories. So I'm materialistic, I love how things look, so I don't want any more things to be on the dash itself. So this is actually hidden when you have the door closed. So these are all accessories, such as like the underglow, the light bar. We have a security key, we have the bass. So this is really well hidden, and I think that's the only update we have as of right now. I still gonna make a bracket to hold that side of the dash, because on this side it started cracking, so gotta make a bracket for that. But it's all done and said. We're almost there to the final stretch. All we're waiting on is the motor now. One thing I do want to say is this is not the final form of this truck. I still plan on reinforcing everything with the two front end, and so that being said, that's gonna get chopped there. The whole front end's gonna come off. The whole two front end will be in with brackets to hold everything where it needs to be, and I will be doing tubs, but all that will come later on. For now, I just need this to be as quick as possible, because I am moving out of here within the next couple months, so I need this to be rolling. So yeah, it's getting there. So if you guys made it this far, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys love what I'm creating so far, and I know you guys have questions, you guys have doubts about what I'm doing, but it's all gonna come together at the very end. I still have other plans to do, but obviously that's after I move out from here. But yeah, if you guys want to go down to the link below, I do have merch that just came out, so head on over to scrapelooks.com, and if not, you can support the channel by commenting and subscribing. So until then, I'll see you guys later, and I hope you guys enjoy your day. Peace.